I just want to stand here and look at y'all. It's so great to see so many of you here. It's just unbelievable. Standing room only crowd. I want to begin by welcoming you from the School of Nursing faculty, staff, and of course our future students, many of whom you will see today during our awards. Next week, we graduate over 300 of our wonderful students, yes, and then they will join you as alums. So this is a fabulous 2 weeks for us here at the school, and I'm very pleased that you're going to have some opportunities today to see parts of the campus that you may have not seen for a while. Believe me, it's changing dramatically, and to see parts of our school. I would like our faculty that are here and our staff that are here to please stand up or wave. We have quite a few. Many of you are also alums, but please, yes, there you are. Great. And I am going to find my slideshow here. Sarah, got a blank screen. So as I was watching that film, I was thinking, you know, Barcelona, Sundance, the club in France, and I thought, what am I doing here as the dean? I ought to be a student. You guys should take advantage of all that wonderful stuff. This is just great. So I wanted to spend a few minutes bringing you up to date on what's going on at the School of Nursing. It's way more than I could possibly do in the time we have today, and so I'm going to show you some slides, but I'm going to really breeze through this and hope that when you get your alumni magazine, your academic nurse, your alumni magazine, which is out now, you read all the great things that are going on, at least in our clinical part of the school, because I'm not going to have time to share with you everything we're doing, but just believe me, there's so many exciting things going on. I want to frame it by a conversation I began with you last year, which was around our strategic planning efforts, because that strategic planning initiative has really driven the roadmap for both my work as your dean and the work of the faculty and staff, and it is shaping the future of our future alums in terms of what our students will be looking like in the future, the kinds of research our faculty are engaged in, and the kind of educational mission that Columbia University School of Nursing is taking on. And I want to warn you, we're making some major changes. And the school, believe me, does not look like it did when most of you graduated. So here we go. We have 5 aspirational goals for the school. We've been working on these goals since I came in September of 2010, so it's been almost 2 years. We set a very ambitious course for ourselves in these 5 areas. The first one has to do with being a recognized leader in the development of a workforce and educational diversity, very high priority for the School of Nursing, and I might add for Columbia University. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a minute. We want our educational programs to be of the highest quality and to develop clinicians and scholars and educators who will lead innovation within all of our healthcare systems and within society. We want to function at the highest level of organizational accountability and efficiency and effectiveness, and in part that has driven a whole new organizational structure for the School of Nursing. So I'll show you what that looks like as well. We want to be recognized as an exemplary partner in education, research, and practice, and we want to be ranked in the top 10 schools of nursing in the nation. Now, we're in the top 25, but knowing what I know about the school and about you, we absolutely ought to be in the top 10. We ought to be number 1, but you know, I'm taking one step at a time. So I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what we need to get there. And we want to be internationally renowned for high-quality scholarship, particularly in collaborative research among our researchers here at the School of Nursing and clinicians and researchers across disciplines. And in these aspirational goals, I now want to show you what some of the accomplishments have been in a fairly short time. So diversity and culture. Why is this so important to us? Well, in part because society is changing a great deal. Our country is becoming much more diverse in terms of many demographic variables, including socioeconomic status and demography and race and ethnicity and many, many other factors. And we need a workforce that reflects that diversity and population. And so the School of Nursing is very committed to diversifying the nursing workforce, our small part of that, by assuring that our faculty, staff, and students reflect the diversity of the nation. So we have a number of important action items we're taking on that. We have a fabulous diversity committee that is working tirelessly to both recruit and work on the retention of a diverse workforce within the school and a student body. We are working on both educational enhancements that we think will attract a more diverse student body. We've obtained an interdisciplinary workforce grant. This is a wonderful grant that combines the 4 schools at Columbia University and an opportunity to bring students to campus that are interested in the health sciences and a health career and link them up with a mentor and spend the summer with us learning both for nursing, medicine, dentistry, and public health what that future work could look like for them. And then we're in the process of recruiting an associate dean for diversity and culture, and many, many more things, but we're making very important strides in this area. Diversity is also an important initiative for Columbia University and the Provost's Office. So the School of Nursing has been working with the Provost's Office on a number of initiatives. Interestingly enough, the School of Nursing has recently been featured in the Columbia Spectator, which is the newspaper for students, in the Columbia Record, which is the Columbia newspaper for alums, and we will be in the Columbia Magazine, which is also the magazine that goes out to friends and alums. And the features are particularly around what the School of Nursing is doing in diversity. So our work is getting a lot of recognition from Columbia. So what are we doing in education and practice? Because of many factors, but probably most importantly, the health systems are getting much more complex. The data that drives our decisions about health and health care are getting much more complex and much larger. The individuals who are in the healthcare system as patients and families are experiencing much more complex treatments and much more complex diseases. And our professional association for colleges, the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, have considered all those variables and recommended that by 2015, the curricular programs in schools of nursing reflect that complexity and therefore graduate advanced practice nurses at the doctoral level. So, being that Columbia was the place that really created the Doctor of Nursing practice, we of course have taken that very seriously, and as a result of that have undertaken a curriculum revision, not just for the Doctor of Nursing practice, but our whole curriculum. So there is a number of things happening that we don't have time to go into, but just know that the nurses that we will be graduating from Columbia over the next generation of nurses will be graduated in a very different way. I think you'll be pleased once you understand the details. We are preserving all the high strengths of our curriculum, and we are expanding many avenues for nurses who study here, and expanding their career opportunities in the future. I'm very excited about this. The faculty voted to approve this new curriculum on Monday, and we're now on our way. We have a new student life coordinator who's adding quality to our student experiences in terms of activities for students, clubs, a variety of activities that students are interested in and have been asking for. Our Columbia Advanced Practice Nurses practice is going to have a new home here at the end of the year. We're going to be moving from East 60th to 51st Street in a new environment, I think a much better location for our practice with greater visibility. Great news for us, we have worked to get our practice, our Doctor of Nursing practice exam accredited by the our American Board of Comprehensive Care exam, and we've received notice that that exam is now accredited, which will be a huge advantage to our Doctor of Nursing practice graduates and DNPs all over the country. So that's just a little bit of what's going on in education. I just wanted to brief you on student enrollment. Now, I don't have the most up-to-date enrollment figures, but I just wanted to let you know that our entry into practice master's program, we've increased about 6% in our applications. So this year we had about 800 applications for 180 spots. That's good news for us, of course, because it means more students are interested in coming to Columbia, and the students that we do get are very, very highly qualified, bright, mature, interesting young men and women. We have our lateral entry into our master's program. These are people that don't come out of our own entry into practice. That's increased by 18%, which is fabulous news as well. We've also had an increase in our DNP and our PhD applications. We like to think, we're pretty sure that the reputation of our graduates and the success of those entry into practice graduates has strengthened the pool. I have a few pictures to show you of our wonderful students. You can tell which ones they are because they're in their blue scrubs. We have students out and engaged in the community in many, many ways. This highlights a couple of activities. Our faculty member in the back of the room, wave your hand, Liz Cohn, is one of our faculty members, and she takes our students out into the community on a regular basis. This is just showing two activities related to students and prevention campaigns. This is particularly one in the Harlem community. These are students working on a nutrition program with community members. They're very, very well engaged in the community. So organizational excellence, we created a new divisional structure. We have policies and procedures now for all employees, including mentoring programs and orientation programs and programs for advancement and promotion and self-evaluation, and just a lot of assists and tools for our faculty and staff to use to gain a better sense of our Columbia University School of Nursing community and how to engage and be successful when you come to us. And the Office of Finance and Administration, and I think Jason Wright, our Associate Dean for Finance and Administration, please wave your hand, has been the leader in this effort, and we now have totally reorganized our budget so that there's transparency in our budget. Our leaders understand our revenue and expenses and are managing those. We also created a new structure. I know you have to have a magnifying glass to see this, but this looks quite different than the School of Nursing of a year past. We now have 6 divisions. These divisions are the homes, if you will, for our faculty and staff, where they're collected in like work and like content and like outcomes and accountabilities. And it's a much more rational way to provide problem solving, budgetary, all kinds of things. The dean's office, rather than an operational unit, is really now a place where we incubate new and innovative ideas, test out strategies, think about the future. It's really the kind of role and position I really wanted when I came here, and because we have such a competent faculty and staff in this school, I was able to move a lot of the operations out to those leaders. So this is great news for me. I get to do a lot of the fun stuff, and I have a wonderful team who really does the hard work. So, speaking of hard work, here's the financial picture. This is a very quick rundown. Revenue in the last year is around $28 million. And where does that come from? Close to $17 million comes from our tuition. Grants each year, a little over $5 million. And our income from our endowments, close to $4 million. Our fund balance is about $11.5 million, and our total endowment portfolio is close to $113 million. About $36 million of that is in our endowed chairs. At the end of the day, we spend about $23 million. So what that means, if you do the math, is that we operate the school with a very healthy, financial picture, and also a margin at the end of each year. Now, why is that important for us? Well, it's important because if you ask our students how much money they spend to come to Columbia, you know that they can't do it alone. This is an expensive place. We're not particularly more expensive than our sister and brother schools, but we are nevertheless fairly expensive. Entry into practice student in that first 12 months is spending close to $100,000. So why do we need to run a margin? Because we need to help our students. Now, it's not just us helping our students. It's through the generosity of our friends and alums who are helping our students. And so we can attract, recruit, and retain a very high-quality student, but we need to work very hard to help them do that. So this is a very good story. Why else is this a good story? Because the School of Nursing, to our great delight, is going to be building a new home. And I'll get to that in a minute. Just a little bit about this aspiration around being a good partner. Columbia University School of Nursing has a fabulous reputation inside, and you all know. But the world needs a better idea about what we're doing here, in part because it helps us recruit those wonderful students. It also helps us recruit the highest quality faculty and staff. So we have launched a new website. I don't know that if you've been on our website lately, but you will see a dramatic difference in the way our website looks, which is a huge way that we communicate with the world through that website. We are recruiting for a new director of communications that will help us communicate to the external environment what Columbia School of Nursing is about, and will also help us with visibility, which is part of that getting our ranking into the top 10. We have been very busy, and this is the collaboration part, as a good partner, working on grants in a couple of areas. One is interdisciplinary. We have an interdisciplinary grant that has enabled us to begin an interdisciplinary educational program under the guidance of Dr. Sarah Cook. Sarah, where are you? There she is in the back. This is a fabulous program that has students from all of the 4 schools at the medical center taking coursework together. It's very innovative, really one of the few in the country, and it was started here through the work of Dr. Cook and Dr. Smolowitz. Also, our School of Nursing students, this is very exciting for us. This is our 2nd year of doing this. Both our nurse practitioner students and our entry into practice students are now doing clinical rotations in La Romana in Dominican Republic at a clinic that is focusing on the prevention and treatment of HIV/AIDS. And I think Here's just a screenshot of the new website. These pictures are movable, they move around. You'll see all kinds of pictures of our students and our clinical partners, and this is really great. Here's a picture on the lower left-hand corner is a group of our students in the Dominican Republic, and up on the right is the clinic itself. So research, we've been very busy in research. Now, you may not know this, but it is getting harder and harder to secure research funding from the National Institutes of Health and other granting agencies, external granting agencies. We've done a number of things to prepare our faculty to be successful. We've started a program within the School of Nursing to provide pilot funds for researchers to get going and to get data in order to write their next grant. But at the end of the day, you have to have a very strong group of faculty who can write those grants and secure that funding. We've increased our NIH funding by 3%. Now that may not mean very much, but it is huge in terms of the challenge of receiving grant funding. I think where's Elaine? Elaine, it's about, what is it, about a 15% success rate now in achieving grants? Elaine's the Associate Dean for Scholarship and Research. So this means that of all the people who write grants, only about 15% of them get funded. So we feel very lucky that we have been pretty successful in grant funding. So at the end of the day, we have about 25 active grants going on, the total about $26 million. Now that's total, so if you look at year by year, it's a little over $5 million a year that comes into the school from external grants. Just two examples I want to show you. You're going to hear from Dr. Bakken in a little bit about the work that she's doing. We have so many fabulous research things going on, but I just wanted to highlight two. One is Dr. Cohn's, who you just met, collaborative work with the Harlem community, looking at healthier food choices. And then Dr. Mary Byrne, who I think many of you know, is Mary here? Oh, there she is, there she is. She does very interesting work with moms and babies, but primarily with underserved families, and some of those families being within the prison system. Now I'm not going to be able to describe Liz's work, but let me just give you the brief Bobbie understanding of this. So you probably know, or you may not know, that there's been a new regulation that fast food chains have to advertise the calorie counts for the food that you're purchasing as a consumer. And they have to post somewhere visible the calories for the foods. So this is an example of what one of those posters looks like. Now, Dr. Cohn and her students were puzzled by the fact that how would a consumer, so if you're going to order a scrambled egg and cheese sandwich, how would you as a consumer know whether you were getting 320 calories or 540 calories? Do you order a scrambled egg and cheese half sandwich, or do you order it without the cheese, or how do you interpret that poster? And then if you go on down, you can see that it just gets more confusing. So Liz and her students undertook a study to show what the challenges were with this kind of regulatory policy implementation. And now, of course, now that we know a whole lot more about this, we can go on to interventions. Her work has been featured on National Public Radio and a number of newspapers. It's really gotten really nice recognition. And here's Mary and her wonderful team, her research team, who does a number of studies, as I said, with very underprivileged women and babies. Very exciting work. Okay, now, a new home for the school. We are just so excited we can hardly talk about this. When I first came to Columbia, I came with the idea of leading a strategic initiative for the school so that I, as the new dean, understood what the priorities within the school were. What do the faculty and staff and students want to do in the next 5 years? And what kind of strengths did I have that could help with that? So as you've just seen, we've gone through this big process to understand what those aspirational goals are. They really had nothing to do with bricks and mortar. It was really more what we would bring to society. But along the way, as we kept talking about the initiative and meeting with members of the Board of Trustees and other individuals, it became real clear that the work that we wanted to do as a school was going to be very difficult to do within the physical environment that we live in. And you will see it this afternoon. Many of you have seen it many times. We're out of space. We've moved programs off-site into rental space, the space for our students, the capacity of our simulation center, which you'll see today. We're under-resourced in terms of the physical plant for the aspirations that we have. So we didn't come and say we need a new building and we'll figure out what we're going to do with it. We said this is what we want to do, and other people said we think you need a new home. So we need about 14,000 square foot of additional space. Large of that will be research, a brand new simulation center, upgrades in structured communications, etc. So this is not a very exciting picture, but it's the lot where we'll be building our new building. Now this is on 168th and Audubon, so it's just a block and a half away from here, so that will anchor the east end of the campus. It's behind the Russ Berry building, if you know where that is, and it's across the street from an elementary school. It's a very nice location. It's a much quieter block than where the school currently exists. So that's the footprint. We were hoping that we would have the design by today and we could show you all, but that won't occur for another week. We have a competition going on. 3 architects are working on the design for the School of Nursing. So what I'm going to show you instead, and it won't look like any of these, but just to give you an idea of what the architects sort of have visualized. So this is one rendering of one of the design features, which takes that lot and builds a 6-story building. You can see that it's, lots of light and with a terrace on the top and event space and, all kinds of great things that we think would be wonderful. Here's another one. This is a little harder to see, but if you look down the block, you can see this is a different rendering from a different architect firm. It has some setbacks and kind of a different look. And then this is another one. This is a 3-story building, but a bigger footprint to accommodate. You can kind of see a spiral staircase in the middle. This is just to kind of give you a flavor of when we discussed with these architect firms our vision and mission for the School of Nursing, what we hope to achieve through a facility. They took that information and began to create spaces for us. So within a week and a half, we hope to have the actual rendering of the new School of Nursing, and we will look forward to sharing that with you as we go along, featuring it in the next issue of Academic Nurse, and having a very large capital campaign, which we are looking for all of you to be involved in. I couldn't end my remarks without saying that. And in light of that, I'm just going to do a little shameless advertising. If you've seen people with ties and scarves, our new School of Nursing look, they're for sale. So don't leave home without one. Thank you very much.